We do a clap to sync it or anything? Or
yeah, we can do.
Take one! We've got the same.
Okay, so I'm here with Emma Corns, the British bag making extraordinaire. Firstly, I'm aware that you started this journey around 3 years ago. Could you share that story with us?
Yeah, it started just maybe a little bit more than 3 years ago. The business started 3 years ago, but about maybe in the year before that, I had this old bag that I would use one bag all the time, and it was all tatty and had holes in it. It was horrible, but I couldn't find a replacement. And at the same time, I spent a bit of time in the Scottish borders where I grew up in some of the mills, and there was all this amazing, beautiful fabric, but I couldn't quite find what I was looking for in terms of a finished product. So I thought, wow, maybe I could make a bag with it, and how tricky can it be? And it turns out it's actually quite difficult, but once I'd sort of worked it out, I really liked, where things were going, gave a couple to friends as presents, people liked them, so I just tried doing a bit of a Christmas market with a few, and they sold. Wow. So 3 years ago, decided to actually start it as a proper business.
How old were you when you started the business then?
I would have been in my late 20s, I was trying to do the maths, nearly 30 when I started.
Wow. What did you do before?
I worked as a freelance researcher, sort of researching companies' marketing materials for them. Yeah. So I didn't just stop that and start this. There was a sort of transition year or two where I was actually doing both, so I was quiet with that and I get on with this.
Would you recommend that for people who are in work and thinking they want to start something?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on your financial situation. If you've got the money and to do it, then it takes a lot of time and effort to start something, so it'll just happen quicker. But if you need that, like I did, I couldn't have just stopped and started, then it's a really nice way of doing it. It's kind of lower risk.
Yeah. Really. I've heard that you won a business award. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Last year I won the Cheshire Young Business Person of the Year, which was very nice. Had a lovely event in the cathedral, and it's just interesting to see what other local businesses there are around and see what people are doing. And I was just impressed I was still considered young.
What were some of the prizes like from winning that?
There weren't significant prizes from that, but we actually won an award earlier in the year. One of the magazines run, Country Bones and Tears magazine, and the prize from that was mentoring from Helen Barber of Barber.
Oh wow!
So we spent a day with her, talked through the business ideas, and she gave us a jacket, which was very nice. my Barber jacket given to me by Barber. Wow! And we got a nice trip to London to go meet the other prize winners. Coverage in the magazine, that kind of thing. It makes a real difference. Anything you get covered in a magazine or newspaper is a huge bonus.
Are you still in touch with the woman from Barber?
Yeah, I've got her mobile number.
Oh wow, okay.
I haven't had to call her yet, but she was really helpful. And it was just really interesting to see a big factory and a business that started from something really small and obviously done very well. Yeah.
Do you kind of aspire to maybe one day be a Barber level?
I'm not sure a Barber level, but I think your aspirations change as you go along. When you start and you're in your first year, you just think, I just want to survive for a year. And then we're like, okay, now we're 3, we can get to 5, and I want it to look like this. So I don't have quite that, but we want to run a successful, sustainable business more than anything else.
So you went from making all the bags yourself in your spare bedroom to eventually developing your own custom fabric and making bags from that. Could you go over that sort of process from beginning with it all made at home and then in your spare room?
I guess made at home was a necessity. It was the only way I knew how to do it and the only way I could fund doing it. And it meant we could experiment with things. We could make really small batches, try things out that we wouldn't have been able to do having to go back and forward to a factory. But then there comes a point when you don't get enough sleep. So it was find other people to work with, or it just isn't sustainable. So a couple of years ago we started the journey of finding people to work with, and now a couple of years later we're completely moved over to other people doing all the production of stuff that customers get. I mean, we obviously still make bags here, we sometimes play around with things, we make samples, but we don't make production runs.
It's the laboratory here.
Yeah, this is the laboratory. And then last year, I've always loved the fabrics because they sort of tell a story of a landscape or a particular place. And I was like, well, why can't we have our own fabrics based on places that we like and love?
Yeah.
And I love Clanwyn Island on Anglesey. I was like, I just couldn't find, there was a fabric, I could see it in my head, but I couldn't find anything that looked like that. So we designed something, and then to actually fund it and make it happen, because you need to commit to a reasonably big role for us. Yeah. We decided to run a Kickstarter project, which successfully funded, which was great. We had 62 amazing backers. Okay. Had the bags made, the fabric woven, and yeah, it was great. And it gave us the confidence that actually people liked our designs, and it gave us the confidence to switch over to having everything custom woven. So now our bags are all made from fabrics we designed from scratch based on different landscapes. So yeah, sometimes you think, oh, we're not getting anywhere, and actually you stop and think, well, this time last year we were still buying off the roll from people, but now everything is our own. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
And for Kickstarter, would you recommend it to people who are thinking about starting their business who maybe haven't got the resources? Or just any advice for people who want to start a campaign?
Oh, starting a Kickstarter campaign, I think I really would recommend it. We had an amazing experience with it, but it doesn't just happen. You don't just stick up a few products, make a video and expect to have the thousands roll in. We spent probably at least a month or 2 months pretty much at it the whole time, like planning it, getting the prototypes done, working out how to tell the story of what we were looking for support with. And then because we were already a business that had been established for a couple of years, we had a bit of a following, which I think helped. So unless you've got something really unique and new, which could just fun, people might just love the idea, you do need to have a little bit of a following. So if you've got a blog or you've been telling people about what you're up to, that's a big help.
And then you mentioned how you get your inspiration for the custom fabrics from places you've been and places you love. What do you look for when you're going to a new place and think this could be a fabric place?
Fabric places normally jump out to me colour first, so I'll go somewhere and it varies. Like some places you can go to and it changes. Like there's different coastlines. Some days you're just like, oh, it's fairly flat skies and sea, and it's like it's beautiful, but And then you go back and take a picture and you're like, wow, the colours, and it just jumps out as being a fabric. Others are more obvious. Like when I'm in London, I like a bit of a trip to Tower Bridge and that area of London. So it's just that one was screamingly obvious to me, like the grey of the granite and all the blue of the metalwork. So yeah, I always start with colour and then move on to the pattern.
Why tweed?
I think it's just a real solid classic fabric. I grew up in the Tweed Valley in Scotland, so I knew it was being woven there. I grew up on a sheep farm. I like natural materials like that, and I like that it's made the transition from something quite traditional and heritage and shooting, hunting, fishing to something that's becoming more dynamic and used in loads of different ways. You don't have to be a member of the British aristocracy to wear it. And I think it's kind of liberating it and letting anybody wear it, and adding a bit of colour and a story. And it's just got so much depth and history to it.
Who is the Emma Corn's woman, or potentially soon man as well? Yeah,
my customers are... This is a good question, because I keep trying to answer this myself. Most of my customers are probably age for a start. It's an obvious place to start. Typically around my age and a little bit older, people who are working. We've sold a lot of people who run their own businesses, who like what they're doing. People that have hobbies and interests but aren't necessarily fashion people, if that makes sense. They don't necessarily spend their weekends shopping on the high street. They'll be out exploring and out for walks, enjoy family and friends rather than shoppers, because we're not fashion, if that's such. We're just like classic style. So that sort of defines our customer more than a real fuel for hitting the high street every Saturday, which would actually be my nightmare as well. Wow. I'm not a shopper.
You're an explorer.
I like classic things that you can buy it and keep bringing out, mixing it up with new things, and not feeling like you have to keep up with the trend.
I like that on your website it says that you like making things that last.
Yeah.
You know, do you think that's lacking in the current market?
I think there's a resurgence in it, and there's plenty of options in the market, but it's more about what people want than what's available. But I think in the last, since probably the financial crisis, people have maybe stopped and looked at what they're buying and maybe buying fewer items, but maybe choosing to spend a little bit more on something they really love, which is how I buy things.
Yeah. Yeah. When you first set up the business, like as a business, what did your kind of friends and family think of that big leap? Or were you already in kind of a freelance role?
I was already working freelance, so that wasn't such a shock, but they were all quite surprised I went into making bags. Because I mentioned I'm not a fashion background, I don't have a fashion background. I'm not a follower particularly of fashion. I obviously keep more of an eye on things now because I want to sort of look at colours and what's happening.
Yeah.
But they were a bit like, what? But actually it makes sense because I love landscapes and I have a degree in geography, so obviously that ties in some respects, but it's just taking it that step further into something maybe a bit more creative than town planning or something. I'm just creating fabric.
So it's so much more than a bag. It's like, say some people like landscape photography, but you're doing that in a way of making it in fabric. I guess you can carry around a little bit of that place. Whether you've been there or not, I think you can see the colours, and it's just a bit more to it than it just being a bit of fabric. Yeah, it's got a lot more personality to it. I hope so. So what are your plans for the future regarding the brand and the product? Yeah, we've got a lot happening. Last year the focus was on moving over to the custom fabric, so we didn't actually get to do so much product development. We were still running with the 4 bags that we had the year before. This year we've actually got 11 new products to launch, so by the end of this year we'll have 15 or 16 different ones. So we're adding a unisex range, so we'll be selling to men as well as women. It's great to hear. Yeah. So we've got an overnight bag, a laptop style bag and a rucksack that will be great for men or women in whichever fabric. And there's no rules about which one's male and which one's female. I think they cross over quite nicely. And we've got a range of smaller accessories, smaller zip pouches and purses and bits and pieces. And we're also going to dabble a little in the sort of home market as well. We're looking at some cushion covers and sort of homes and interiors. We've had a lot of people saying they love our fabrics, but they're not necessarily, they would use a bag in it, but they love the story and they sort of want to get a little piece of it. Yeah. So watch this space. Will do. With my blog and website, I'm trying to develop a sort of a community of people who love doing what they do, who are full-time dream chasers. Yeah. Like, do you have any advice from learning about building your own community of people who love what you do? Yeah, I think just start talking about it from the very beginning. Once I sort of thought that people might like the bags and what I was doing, I just wrote up a blog, and looking back it's now a bit cringeworthy, but people actually read it and followed it from the start, and they feel like they've been on that journey with you. So I've got people who've been there since the very beginning. And it's just a nice way of doing it, and I enjoy it, and other people seem to like, feeling like they're coming along with you. Yeah, that's excellent. Do you have any more future adventures planned, maybe to have some more inspiration for fabric, or? Yeah, we'll be bringing out, at the moment the plan is to bring out a new fabric every few months probably, so we've got another one coming summer, autumn, and then we'll have one in the spring next year. But we're having a baby in July, so let's just see. That's an adventure in itself. Yeah, that is its own adventure, but we've got plenty of ideas. I'm not short of ideas for fabric, it's just time and getting it all into. There's just myself and my husband that work for the business, so the biggest problem we have is just running out of time sometimes. We've got so many ideas and so many things we want to do, but it's just working out what's feasible. You mentioned that you don't actually have a design education. Do you think that's held you back or been more of a gift? I think it's been both. Yeah. I think it's meant I haven't been constrained by thinking you have to do things in a particular way and follow a certain order. Like, I think I'm probably confused, but sometimes it maybe holds me back in that when you go to try and formalise something with a fact, you're like, where's this and this and this and this? And you're like, well, I just need it like this. Yeah. But now I have worked it out, and I think in the long run it hasn't
been a problem.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's more important, what's important, what I've brought from other work I've done is the kind of management of stuff. Like I think it's, when you're just here on your own or with somebody else running it, you kind of need to manage the business as well as the creative side of it. So I quite like spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And actually, that's been a big bonus. I think it's all too easy to get caught up in the design side and then forget to really work out what your costs are. It sounds really dull, but if you don't have that under control, it won't work.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect at it by any means, but I try.
And then finally, what does a full-time dream chaser mean to you?
Ooh. I think it's just somebody who's willing to not live with too much compromise, if you know what I mean. So rather than doing a job that doesn't do it for you, it's actually just finding something that makes you happy. And it doesn't always make you happy, I can assure you. There's definite stress, but you're working towards something that is a big picture that makes it better. And for us, this isn't just work and life, like they do merge, and you can't immerse them too much or it all becomes work or all a bit dull. But yeah, I think it's just working towards a bigger goal of living a happy and sustainable lifestyle.
Do you ever look back and think, oh, I wish I'd got a normal job?
Yeah, there are days like that, but then I usually get over it.
So that's been excellent. If you want to see more of Emma's work, go to her website, emmacorns.com.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, thank you.